welcome to the Tuesday edition of Talking Football, and today looking at the action from the French League and the incredible weekend in the FA Cup, with so many big teams going out as early as the fourth round. With me here to do it are football analyst Yoav Borowitz and I24 News Michael Freeman, who will give us all the headlines from the global press. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
Chelsea is gone, Manchester City is gone, Southampton is gone, and Manchester United was lucky enough not to lose to a fourth division side. All this and much more coming up. Here we go. We begin with the FA Cup and with Chelsea, who seem to be cruising to the fifth round. They led 2-0 at home against third division side Bradford in the 40th minute of their match. At that point, no one really thought the game would finish like this. The team from West Yorkshire scored 4 times to stun the London Billionaires and go through. Chelsea may have been dreaming of a quadruple, 4 titles in one season. It will now remain as no more than a dream. Bradford may be 2 leagues and hundreds of millions of pounds below Chelsea, but their players proved they have nothing less when it comes to courage and fighting spirit. They will play in the 5th round of the FA Cup. Chelsea will only watch it on TV. Yes, it's the FA Cup. They did not play with their strongest squad. They came tired from the past weekend. Hundreds of excuses. Winning 2-0 against a third division side at home, they have to win.
Of course. Just a great day in the history of Bradford City and a terrible day in the history of Chelsea, because the FA Cup is a very prestigious competition. As you said, it's not as important as it used to be when those big clubs are looking at the Premier League and looking at the Champions League. So, of course, FA Cup is not as important, but it's more important than the League Cup. And tomorrow there's a big game. We'll talk about it, Chelsea against Liverpool in the League Cup. FA Cup is much bigger. Losing to a third division team at home. Manchester City losing at home to Middlesbrough, Tottenham losing, Southampton losing, Liverpool and Manchester United not being able to win. Just a beautiful day for British football. All the romantic, we're talking about this romanticism that's lost because of the big money and the foreign investors and the media and everything. But coming back to this legendary FA Cup and those small teams,
where everything can happen,
are able to beat those, the Chelsea and Manchester City, they had a lot of very, very good players on the pitch. Yep. And they still lost. That's amazing.
Michael, how bad is the treatment for Chelsea from the British press?
As you could imagine, the press has been ripping Chelsea apart. This was by the BBC headline saying, Chelsea's loss to Bradford is the biggest shock of all time. I mean, it's really something that has...
Jose Mourinho said disgraceful. That's what the men said.
Jose Mourinho was ashamed and called it disgraceful, but the press is really, really getting on them hard, as they should. And other people around the league, former players, are also stepping in and saying, ex-Tottenham midfielder said that Jermaine Janas, this is what we love about the FA Cup, the shock exit. So this is, something that's seen before and seen again. And Peter Cech, he also made a little tweet about this. He goes, the FA Cup is special, and it's brings magical moments. But unfortunately, for this time in 10 years, I was on the wrong side of the magic moment. So he's a little bit unlucky this time around.
Absolutely. So the league leaders are out of the FA Cup. What did the team chasing them do? Manchester City lost at home last week to Arsenal in the Premiership, and they were desperate to give their fans something to smile about. But second division side Middlesbrough put them out of the competition. Patrick Bamford scored first for the visitors on 53 minutes. The Citizens then pushed forward, but they were not able to score. They did leave their back exposed, and Kike took advantage of that in stoppage time. Middlesbrough wins 2-0. Yoav, I think for Chelsea, we may say it's a slip, but coming in a good period. Manchester City, they seem to be in trouble. They lost last week. They lost now. They're going into a match with Chelsea over the weekend. If they lose that again, they may be losing the championship also.
Yeah, 2 straight losses at home, playing against Chelsea.
Not scoring.
It's a must-not-lose game for them. If they don't win and they tie it, they're still in the chase. But losing, being 8 points behind Chelsea in this season, when Chelsea are so strong, would be extremely difficult for them to overcome this gap and to win the championship. And it's going to be a tremendous game because, the 2 strongest team in English football after all said and done. Manchester City being with, they acquired the Wilfred Boney. I don't know if he'll be able to play in the game. He's with the African Cup of Nations, but still, having Kun Aguero back from this injury, Jovetic, Dzeko, all the great players in the midfield.
Yaya Toure is not there.
Yaya Toure is not there, and that's an important point, because Manchester City without Yaya Toure is a team playing without its MVP. I think, Kun Aguero was maybe the biggest star, and he scores maybe the most important goals. But Yaya Toure doesn't only score a lot of goals, but he really balances this team. He's the anchor in the midfield, very strong guy, big presence, does it all. Without Yaya Toure, we see, Manchester City don't win. And without Kun Aguero, they did win a lot of games. So I think it's going to be extremely tough for them against Chelsea. Yet, it's definitely doable. They can win there.
They can win that.
Every result in this game will not surprise me.
No doubt about it. And Michael, as the British press is telling us, we should not really be surprised that it's Middlesbrough who beat Manchester City. It's not the first time they've done it.
Obviously, this couldn't have been predicted, but it proved to happen once again. The Daily Mail headlines read, Manchester City suffered one of their worst defeats in history at Middlesbrough in 2008. 7 seasons on, Emmanuel Pellegrini's side are on unrecognizable force. While this might have been more accepted 8 years ago when their club was not, a top tier like they are today, it is absolutely embarrassing for them. They have much higher expectations than this. The FA Cup, it's actually a painful place for Pellegrini's side. They got knocked out by another championship side team, Wigan was last year. So this is not a good way for them to go out, and they're going to have to really step it up if they want to do well against Chelsea in the next league.
That game against Chelsea in the Championship is coming up. Barcelona is coming up in the Champions League. A lot is coming up. Now, holders Arsenal played on Sunday, a day after all the other big Premiership teams. And after seeing what happened on Saturday, they knew perfectly well they needed to be at their best in their trip to Brighton. It took the Gunners just 90 seconds to show the home team they came for business. Theo Walcott, who came back from injury recently and was in the starting 11 for the first time in more than a year, puts the visitors on top. Midway through the first half, and it's already 2. Mesut Ozil does it after the beautiful assist from Tomas Rosicky. This is a moment Arsenal fans have been waiting for months to see Walcott and Ozil playing together. The second division side did not give up. Just minutes after the break, they got back in it. Chris O'Grady gives the fans some hope. But soon after, another nice team play gave Arsenal the third. Brighton scored again, but the holders who won 3-2 are still in the race. Manager Arsene Wenger knows it was not easy, and he's not surprised to see so many Premier League teams losing early on.
I think the results yesterday was a bit subconscious warning for us. It wakes you a bit up when you think, okay, it's a championship team, but you know that at the lower level now, the players are prepared. They come out of their academies, do not make it in the Premier League, but they are not far from it. They can maintain the pace for 90 minutes, and in this kind of ties, they never give up. And you look even in the League One, when you look at the games, teams play good football. And if you're not ready, you can lose.
And here are some other results from the fourth round, and it's not only the top 2 teams in the Premier League that are out, so is third place Southampton, who lost 3-2 at home to Crystal Palace. Manchester United is still alive, but their goalless draw against 4th Division Cambridge is nothing to be proud about. Their replay will be played next week in Old Trafford. Another replay will be held between Bolton and Liverpool, as their match in Anfield also ended in a goalless draw. There is a reason why we love the FA Cup, and it's exactly because of weekends like this one. The small teams face up against the big teams and leave them behind. Lise Barnbaum and Michael Friedman take another look at the crazy 4th round in the FA Cup.
When it comes to surprises, the FA Cup never disappoints. The 4th round of the competition left many of the Premier League heavyweights in shock. Premier League leader Chelsea was stunned at home by 3rd Division Bradford, losing 2-4. This is the first defeat in 5 games for the Blues, and it is even more embarrassing than the 5-3 loss against Tottenham on New Year's. However, if Hazard, Terry, Fabregas, and Costa were in the squad, the club could have avoided the terrible failure. A difficult match to swallow for the great Jose Mourinho before gearing up against a title race competitor, Manchester City.
In the history of this competition, this happens to every team now and again. For me, it was the first time. For Chelsea, it doesn't happen a lot, and I think is unacceptable.
This was also the case for the defending champions Manchester City, who did not expect to fall 0-2 to 2nd Division side Middlesbrough at the Etihad Stadium. This is the third consecutive game without a win for the Sky Blues, but City's coach remains positive with his
I
players.
have to say we have so different two games in the same match. Before the score, I think that we did it very well. After that, I think that Middlesbrough deserve to continue in the cup.
Two other prestigious clubs also failed against their visitors. Tottenham lost 1-2 to bottom of the Premier League, Leicester.
During the game we play well, but you need to kill the game because in the second half we create chance. But always we give the possibility to be alive, Leicester. And in the last 10 minutes I think we made some mistake and we are out of the FA Cup, and for that I'm very disappointed.
And Southampton, third in the Premier League, finds itself out of the FA Cup after losing 2-3 to Crystal Palace. As many of the top teams embarrass themselves in the fourth round of the FA Cup, it continues to leave the fans in awe. This may just be the most mysterious cup in the world of football.
Yoav, is the thing is that the big teams do not care about the FA Cup anymore as they did once, or the smaller teams, as Arsene Wenger said, are better than what we think?
It's a combination of both. The strong teams don't play with our strongest lineups, and the smaller teams, quote unquote, are not so small. They're pretty good. We know the level in the championship is pretty good level. You know, a lot of fans come, there's a lot of money. There's a very good football in England across the scope. So when they come with an extra motivation against those giants, they come with more motivation than the big teams. And that's their day in the sun. And they play accordingly. And as we said, it's a beautiful thing to watch.
No doubt. We saw that this weekend in the FA Cup. And now let's cross the channel and turn our attention to the French League. We may have thought the winter break would save Marseille from the famous Bielsa fatigue, but the results show exactly the opposite. The team that led the French League going into the break lost 2 of 3 since coming back, including a 2-1 defeat this weekend in Nice. These are good news for the rivals at the top. Lyon keeps their run at the top. They beat Metz 2-0. Alexander Lacazette scored again, number 21 of the season, same as Messi. But he was injured later in the game, and it's unclear for the moment how bad it is. Champions Paris Saint-Germain struggled in Saint-Etienne, but a Zlatan Ibrahimovic penalty was enough for them to get another 3 valuable points. And this is what the top looks like. Lyon are first with 48 points. PSG and Marseille are tied at second and third, both with 44 points and the same goal difference. Saint-Etienne are fourth with 40 points. And look at Monaco. After winning 6 of their last 7 matches, they're now up to fifth with 39 points. Yoav, we begin with Lyon. They're doing great, but now they're going to face Monaco this weekend, maybe without Lacazette. It's not exactly like Manchester City. If they don't have their big man up front, they're going to have trouble.
For sure. Alexander Lacazette has a great season, 22 goals. Without him, it's going to be very, very tough. We saw also other teams, Marseille, really struggling now lately because it's very difficult to ask a team like Marseille with the limited resources, limited roster to be on top of their form the whole season. So in France, we still have drama, and it's a nice thing because PSG has so much more money than the other teams, and the fact that PSG is just ranked third together with the second it's a good thing, and hopefully the competition will continue there throughout the season.
You mentioned Marseille. Is this the Bielsa fatigue? They lost 2 of 3, but coming from a break, and we're seeing Gignac, he was stellar at the beginning of the season, now he struggles to score.
Yeah, André-Pierre Gignac was really there, the big striker, the big goal scorer. He doesn't score as much, and it's a big problem for this team. As we said, Marseille, we remember the heyday of Marseille during the 90s, the Bernard Tapie era with all the money, all the great players. It's not the same Marseille today. They have great fans. They have a great tradition, but they don't have a lot of money. They are very fortunate to have Marcelo Bielsa, the great Argentinian, as a coach. But as you mentioned, he's very demanding. It's very difficult for a limited team to give their all, also in terms of, shape and stamina and energy and football ability. So Marseille still, second place is a very good achievement for them.
And Michael, any answers perhaps in the press as to what is happening to Marseille, what is happening to Gignac?
The press are asking the same questions that we are. What has happened to the Marseille attack? A team that was leading with 25 goals in the first 10 weeks, and now they're not really performing. So they don't know if it's Marcelo Bielsa's, having to regroup their team, and why this new collapse in offense, but they need to really dig deep and get back to the roots of where they were in the beginning of the season.
And we'll follow this Marseille, we'll follow the French League. Michael Friedman, Yoav Borowitz, thank you very much for being with us this week. And that's it for Talking Football. Thank you for being with us. Don't forget, you can watch all our shows on our website at i24news.tv, also on Facebook and on Twitter. We will be back tomorrow with our daily magazine. Till then, thank you for watching and have a beautiful day.